Rabbit Rabbit. I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. It's brought to you by the Dolores County Broadcasting Network, with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the special district association responsible for bringing the area free-to-access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is a community TV station, so if there's a news story or event information you'd like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization or an individual, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Monday program for February 1st, 2021. DCTV Daily News. The prospect of Wall Street buying water rights in Colorado has seemingly brought the water community on the Front Range and Western Slope together, a rare occurrence between two sides of the state often at odds over water use. Reported in the Durango Herald, quote, "In recent weeks, much attention has been focused on an issue not new to officials in the water world: private interests or hedge funds purchasing water rights from agricultural communities and diverting that water to the cities." An open letter from almost 10 water officials from across the state, including the local Southwestern Water Conservation District, lashes out against the practice, saying, quote, "Waters that originate in our great state are the property of the public. The people of Colorado have the right to appropriate and use that water for beneficial uses such as municipal, irrigation, industrial, and recreation," the letter sent on Thursday said. The open letter is largely in response to a January 3rd article in the New York Times called "Wall Street Eyes Billions in the Colorado's Water," which says private investors may become more of a force in the political water world. The article cites several examples of private investors purchasing water rights from ranches and then diverting it to cities to feed new developments or subdivisions in drought-strapped places. Several private equity owners argue that the practice could be one of the solutions to curb the impacts of climate change that has resulted in drought and less available water throughout the West. In one stance, Greenstone, a private investment firm, bought most of the water rights in Cibola, Arizona, and then sold the rights to a suburb of Phoenix known as Queen Creek, 175 miles away. One of the things I think we've learned over time is that a resource like water is best allocated through kind of a combination of market forces and regulatory oversight, Grady Gamage, a spokesman for Greenstone, said in an article. The market would say, Gamage went on to say, water is far more valuable serving urban populations. The Colorado water officials' letter says that this is not the first time venture capital firms have eyed the state's water resources. Quote, "This time around, however, the investors and their representatives are posturing to portray themselves as the only solution to a climate change-driven reduction in the flows of our rivers," the letter says. Indeed, demand for water is growing on the Colorado River, which supports about 40 million people and 5.5 million acres of agricultural land in 7 states. An increasingly prolonged drought is resulting in less of it being available to users. Colorado water managers in the letter argue efforts are already concentrated on responding to the issue and should be led by the state and local officials, not private for-profit businesses. Namely, the letter cites the, quote, "demand management program" to temporarily compensate water users in Colorado and other upper basin states to reduce their use of water to be able to meet obligations under the Colorado River Compact. Quote, "The introduction of private investors in our statewide water planning efforts will only serve to further exacerbate the water divisions that exist between our urban areas and our irrigated agricultural communities," the letter states. The practice has been more common in urban areas along the Front Range or near Phoenix, and the issue hasn't reared its head quite yet in southwest Colorado, according to several water officials interviewed for this story. Robert Ginualdi, Colorado Division of Water Resources Division 7 engineer, which covers Durango area, said that there are several key distinctions why the hedge funds of Wall Street haven't set their sights on local waterways. For one, in most places along the Front Range where it is happening, the waterways are over-appropriated and there is not enough water to go around to serve new developments or subdivisions. As a result, entities looking for water for urban areas seek out farm and ranch owners who may be interested in selling their rights. Then the developers use that water for their projects and let the farms go fallow, known as buy and dry. On the other hand, most waterways in the region, like the Animas River, are not over-allocated, meaning water rights can still be bought, Genualdi said. In our corner of the state, it's probably not as prevalent as it might be in other parts of the state because of the water availability down here, he said. Also, Genualdi pointed out that much of the water is stored in Bureau of Reclamation projects like Vallecito, Lake Nighthorse, and McPhee reservoirs, which bring some level of federal protections against the practice. Quote, those projects were built for specific things, so it's more of a task to get water use changed, he said. You'd have to go to Congress for a change. While not currently an issue in Southwest Colorado, efforts should be made to prepare for private interest in water, said Amy Huff, a water attorney recently appointed to the Southwestern Water Conservation Board. Quote, I think it's a possibility it could happen in the next few years, she said, but I don't think right away. We're not a low-hanging fruit for someone. Where water officials see the biggest issue of hedge funds buying up rights is within ditch companies, where individual water right holders have the ability to sell off their rights to private interests, Huff said. That structure, Huff said, is not the case for most of water distribution in Southwest Colorado, though she did mention one Mancus ditch company that is seeking better protections against the practice. A call to Dan James with the Animas Consolidated Ditch Company was not returned. Mike Preston, former manager for the Dolores Water Conservancy District, said several water districts in the region have set up restrictions for people to sell off to private companies. Quote, they've done what they can to protect themselves, he said. That water is all tied up to the land. Ed Tolan, general manager of the La Plata Archuleta Water District, said that his water right holders shouldn't have to worry because it's all domestic water use, not for irrigation. But still, he said there is concern among the agricultural community that some ranchers and farmers may have to send their water to lower basin states to meet water compacts. People, quote, people are thinking if they buy land with water rights, they could sell that water to help meet that compact requirement, Tolan said. I think it's something we need to prepare for. Indeed, the Colorado State Legislature formed a study group to take on the issue and provide a report and recommendations by August. One thing is clear, there is no place for private for-profit interest in this process, the open letter said. Quote, Colorado state government has a long history of opposing interstate marketing and transfers of water by private interests, and that opposition should continue. Thankfully, the recent snows have helped boost up our area snowpack, as shown on the SnowTel report. We are still behind the average, but now around 79% of average, with more potential moisture in our future forecasts. So now, let's take a look at that local weather. Today, Monday, and the first day of February, a beautiful sunrise with cloudy skies, off and on with a high near 40 degrees and east winds just around 5 miles an hour, shifting southwest in the day. Tonight, cloudy and a low around 29 degrees, with those east-southeast winds remaining around 5 miles an hour. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high near 45 degrees with light winds. Tuesday night, mostly cloudy and a low around 30 degrees, with south-southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. For the 3rd of the February month, on Wednesday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers right now, mainly after 11 a.m. in the morning. Mostly cloudy and a high near 44 degrees, so that will be rain. Breezy with that south wind 10 to 15 miles an hour, increasing to 15 to 20 in the afternoon with gusts as high as 30. So be careful for driving on Wednesday afternoon if this does come to pass. Wednesday night, we're looking at still a 50% chance of rain and then snow showers before 10 p.m. and then shifting to all snow showers overnight, mostly cloudy and a low around 23 degrees. Look for just an inch or so of accumulation possible. That's all they're predicting at this point. For Thursday, we drop to a 30% chance of snow showers, mainly in the morning, with mostly sunny skies the rest of the day and a high near 34. Thursday night, mostly clear and a low around 15. For Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 36 degrees. Friday night, partly cloudy and a low around 18. For the weekend, Saturday, we're looking to start off with a sunny day and a high near 38. Saturday night, mostly clear and a low around 18. And now, back to our news. The Fence Post reported an opinion article about the truth behind the race to bring wolves to Colorado. It's written by Bob West, Whiskey Bell Ranch in Livermore, Colorado. He writes, "Thank you so much for alerting us to the Colorado wolf introduction issues. I'm a new member of the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, and through their information and listening to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife meeting, I was able to discover the reason for the governor's request to expedite. Please feel free to share this with your readers. It is somewhat complicated, but I'll try to explain it in a simple manner. Since the gray wolf was recently delisted by the federal government, the management of the wolf reverts back to the states. This is why there are wolf hunts allowed in Wyoming and other states now. In Colorado, the wolf is listed as protected. Therefore, the state of Colorado is free to manage its own reintroduction without federal oversight. The opinion in the federal ranks is that there are plenty of wolves now in the U.S. and we don't need any more reintroductions. That's the federal level. Environmental groups have filed intent to sue to bring back the gray wolf listing, with their goal of getting an injunction which would take anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half at least to obtain, mainly to stop the hunts. If they are successful, the gray wolf listing would return, thus returning the gray wolf management in Colorado back to the federal government. Since the gray wolf reintroduction is likely not supported by the feds, the whole reintroduction effort might be scuttled in Colorado, and this, he says, is why the governor wants to hurry the process. Something to think about, and there are always many points of view on any report or story, and hindsight is certainly 20/20. Mancus is allowing the move of a marijuana shop into the old Millwood Junction restaurant building that went out of business several years ago. This was a report from the Journal. Marijuana dispensary Live Well received approval from the Mancus Board of Trustees last Wednesday night to change location to the building that has formerly been the home to the Millwood Junction restaurant. The empty Millwood Junction building, 101 West Railroad Avenue, sits right at the town's primary intersection of Colorado 184 and U.S. Highway 160. On a local note, the tables from the restaurant are now being utilized in the Dove Creek Dinner Bell. So, according to board members last Wednesday night, Live Well met all legal and permitting requirements necessary to move in. Mancus Town Administrator Heather Alvarez, in a report to the board, noted that the Live Well business will be 2,500 square feet or less at this time. The building is 3,140 square feet, so there is the opportunity for a future special exception request should the Live Well wish to increase the size of its business. Alvarez also noted that traffic flow concerns had been addressed by Live Well and the Colorado Department of Transportation. Mancus Marshal Justin Goodall reviewed the application and had no objection to the change. Live Well initially attempted to move to a different location in Mancus, but didn't move forward with it because of, quote, costly and time-intensive mandatory development obligations. The company has allocated $800,000 for building and landscape improvements to Millwood as a gesture of good faith to the community. Mancus Marshal Justin Goodall reviewed the application and again is said to have no objections. Of concern at Wednesday's meeting was the business's proximity to nearby Boyle Park. Municipal statute dictates that a marijuana dispensary cannot be within 500 feet of a park. The board approved Live Well's location based on a measurement by Alvarez and Marshal Goodall, as well as a measurement from licensed surveyor SGM. But many Mancus residents were unhappy with the idea of a dispensary at such a central location of the town. People come from all over the world and they go up to Mesa Verde, said Mancus resident Diane Perinello. And they go up there to look at the ruins of Mesa Verde for a very specific reason, because it's history and it has significance. They want to see it. The Millwood has that kind of significance to the people in this area. It has an energy to it, she said. The Millwood site is the focal point of our town, and I, for one, don't want our town to have the focal point for everyone that comes through here to be a marijuana dispensary right on the corner, said Marlis de Laronde. To be honest, I would rather see the building raised and they put up a gas station. Live Well General Counsel and minority owner Anna Hatch emphasized the company's compliance with local ordinances and its ties to the community. Quote, "It has come to a point where we do need to find a new location for our store," Hatch said. "We did not set out to find the most contentious location we could possibly have. We see an empty building at the main corner of your town. We're not trying to go above and beyond and make this a destination that's associated with marijuana, but marijuana is a part of your town, and we have been here. We fully intend to continue to be a good neighbor," end quote. Alvarez said that she was unaware of any other potential businesses that were interested in buying the building, even after reaching out to Durango businesses and attempting to coordinate with the Region 9 Economic Development District to find suitors. Trustee Janice Bryan argued that the marijuana industry boom in Colorado could not be ignored. Quote, "It's one of the fastest growing industries and they're going to be bringing jobs," Bryan said. "I think our town deserves to have something that brings in some income, jobs, and clean industry." Other board members made it clear that they had a legal obligation to approve the change of location. Quote, "It would actually be illegal of us to deny this tonight because they've met the sections of the code that they need to meet," said Trustee Cindy Simpson. "Our hands are tied. We have no choice to approve or face a lawsuit. It's not a situation where people's feelings are relevant to this," said Trustee Ed Hallman. The board voted 5-1 to approve the change of location. Hallam was the only dissenting vote, but only because he wanted further clarification on the accuracy of the surveys. Medical marijuana businesses were approved in Mancos back in 2010, and retail marijuana was approved in 2014. Their business model has brought in jobs and taxes to support the community without the town turning into something more dangerous and whatever other disparaging fears some Coloradans may have about a legal and now well-vetted business model becoming legalized and regulated in any town. Something to watch in Mancos as to what the effects in terms of real numbers and real implications continue to be. 6 to 10 years is a pretty good time frame to look at. And to catch this program online, visit our Facebook page, that's DCTV Daily News, or also online on YouTube. Both you can follow and or subscribe to easily and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something that you would like to share, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or call at 970-677-4119 and leave a message. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. If you like the program, again, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Be well and keep thinking for yourself.